A cyber attack that paralyzed a Los Angeles hospital's computer system, potentially putting lives at risk, is highlighting the importance of online security and raising concerns about vulnerable networks. As we told you last night, hackers disabled the computer system of the Hollywood Presbyterian Medical Center, infecting it with a type of software called ransomware, essentially holding the network hostage until the hospital agreed to pay a ransom. In the end, the medical center paid $17,000 in Bitcoin, an electronic currency that's difficult to trace. Experts say cyber attacks on hospitals are becoming more common. So this attack and the extortion came as a surprise to a lot of us here, but you know what? It did not surprise our tech expert, Graham Williams. And why is that?
Well, with systems like this, they are very vulnerable to attack from a variety of directions. Your computer is connected to the internet, so you can be connected through a phishing attack, basically get an email or a web link that looks like it's legitimate, but actually has a malware payload. You can also be attacked from the inside, whether maliciously or accidentally. A thumb drive plugged into a USB port could carry this executable run on your system. It does exactly what it's supposed to do and encrypts your data.
See, I would have thought a hospital in particular would have security systems in place that would detect this kind of attack and shut it down.
The difficulty here is that a program like this doesn't really look like a virus. It's actually doing what it's supposed to do. It's encrypting your data. It's protecting your data. The problem is you don't have the key. Someone else does. So essentially this program being run is just a regular program, but it does have malicious intent.
This is, I don't know if it's a small hospital, certainly not one I've heard of before, and I follow what happens in Los Angeles very closely. But are you saying that this could as easily have been a huge hospital, a well-known hospital? It could have been equally vulnerable?
Absolutely. The difficulty here is that the weakest part of any system is going to be your users. So if somebody does get an email that is a phishing attack, they click on that link, they download that program. If the system doesn't have malware protection that protects against that particular Cryptolocker, running that file just locks it up right away. Internally, something that is plugged into a USB port can cause that payload to be activated. A lot of locations are now actually epoxying or using superglue to close off USB ports, so that can't happen.
So much of what you say are metaphors. When you say using superglue to close the ports, do you literally mean they're closing the ports?
They're literally closing it with superglue.
Okay. So once this gets in, whether it's through that phishing attack, click on this file and you think it's going to be something interesting, turns out to be malicious, or someone put a thumb drive in the system. Once this malware is unleashed, what does it do?
Essentially what it does is it encrypts your files. So it finds the data that it is looking for, which is usually the entire system folder, and it locks it up with RSA 2048 encryption. That's the strongest encryption available to most people on the planet. At that point, there really is no cracking it. The only way that you're going to get it open is with the key. Unfortunately, to get the key, you're going to have to pay for it from the people that you actually were attacked by.
And that's what happened in this case. They finally did pay the ransom, not as much as was originally asked for, but still, you know, not an inconsiderable amount. Now, if this happens to individuals, and I have a friend who runs a computer store here, and he has individuals who come in and say, you know, their computer's locked down, they've been extorted, they're able to, I think, just to clean the computer out and reload from the backup what was there before. That wasn't an option, I guess, for a big organization.
I think the difficulty here is that this was a distributed system. There were a lot of moving parts to it. Restoring that kind of data in a hospital where data is time sensitive could be very difficult. They were down for 10 days, and I think it probably got to the point where it would cost them more than $17,000 to actually fix this problem.
For people watching in terms of their home computers, we'll let the big organizations take care of themselves, but for people watching, what should they know about trying to stay safe from this kind of malware that could lock down their computer?
The most important thing really is to not open files that were sent to you by someone that you don't know. If you do see a web link that does download an executable, don't run it. If you're going to actually download an executable, make sure you're going to the right site to do that. And last but not least, make sure that you have a good backup that is up to date, usually to the day if you can. That can prevent a lot of stress if you do get attacked by something like this.
All right, Graham Williams, thank you very much.
My pleasure.